stay low. Blood run hot when that heart goes, stay froze. You know how that thing go, I can't stop. Ask who did it, I did it. I does it, they finish, they talk it, I live it. You know where I'm headed, my fight, my business, my life, I'm menace. Dare them to step in, don't play pretend. About to go off the deep end, just give me the reason. Every day is the
Buffalo lovers, try Harvey's Crispy Buffalo Chicken Sandwich, Nuggets, and Wrap. Own your heat and add Harvey's Chipotle Hot or Ghost Pepper Sauce. Show us how hot you can take it.
Nobody's gonna be in here, so we're just gonna sit and watch something. Nobody's coming to this. Nobody in their right mind's gonna watch me on YouTube, unless it's for Monday Night Raw. So we're just gonna We're just gonna watch the Yes Theory video that came out yesterday. 7 days with the man who confirmed aliens exist. Alright. That's a video and a half. Alright, I love Bray, but I think I need to get rid of him.
Well, New Mexico, in the possession of beyond.
We'll get Randy Orton up in this bitch.
In no way connected with any secret department of the United States.
The Air Force, called before a congressional committee, said it was hiding nothing.
We have not been hiding anything. The sighting has been kept in the unidentified category. We've been perfectly willing to say that, too.
The Air Force is simply treating the American people like children. They don't trust them with the facts.
It was not anything from this earth. All I could do is keep a mouth shut.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence by the military-industrial complex.
There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove truth's protective layers.
Yes, there have been ET visitation, there have been crashed craft, and there is some group of people somewhere that have this knowledge.
Now, the vehicle that you just described, how similar was it to the very first sighting that you had back in 1951?
Quite similar. Basically the same planform vehicle. They were a double saucer, lenticular.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
The U.S. Navy has finally acknowledged that videos appearing to show UFOs flying through the air are real.
We have nothing that goes that fast and just starts climbing at will.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable path.
Would you ever open up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there?
So many people ask me that question. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting.
President Obama says that there is records of objects in the skies, these unidentified aerial phenomenon, and he says we don't know exactly what they are. What do you think that it is?
I would ask him again. Thank you.
Apparently the military have hundreds of these encounters, but most of the time they keep it to themselves. There's a stigma, and so a lot of these sightings are simply not reported. The floodgates could be open as now the stigma is beginning to be removed.
A former U.S. intelligence official, an Air Force veteran, claims a top-secret program is withholding evidence of alien spacecraft.
Air Force veteran David Grush is exposing what he calls a top-secret military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact UFOs.
Non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah. How many? Quite a number.
Congress this week holding its first hearing on UFOs in more than 50 years.
We begin with a highly anticipated hearing on Capitol Hill about unidentified flying objects.
He is going to tell committee members that he has knowledge of a covert government program to recover crashed alien spacecraft.
Get off my desk. Lay down. Wow, so long in the making, bro. So long in the making. All right,
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Let's do it. You travel light, man.
I do. I roll my clothes. Fine, then. Yeah, having to put a tie on and a suit jacket's not
All of that is in the bag?
Oh yeah, I rolled it. Yeah.
Wow. That's hilarious.
The large guy has the smallest suitcase.
So how did I end up in a car with the UFO whistleblower testifying in front of Congress tomorrow to let the world know that we're not alone?
For that, we have to go back 3 years, where I found myself in the middle of a very bizarre experience that would push me to ask some of the most fundamental questions I've ever dared to ask about the nature of existence itself. In the fall of 2020, with no prior interest in the topic, I visited a small town in Massachusetts to talk to a number of people who had experienced a mass sighting of UFOs in September of 1969. Over 300 people from a few neighboring towns saw something in the sky that defied our known laws of physics.
And it just hovered right there. Not a sound, nothing.
But even more bizarre than that, dozens of children went missing that night and claimed to have ended up on board of a craft.
And then the only thing I can remember after that was being levitated over on the street.
I had never felt more of an unsettling disconnection between my intuition and rationale. On one hand, I felt an overwhelming sense of empathy towards these sincere humans who opened up to me about their traumatic events. And on the other hand, those events had no place in my construct of reality. Was I being lied to by dozens of people who had nothing to gain from this besides humiliation and judgment?
Probably.
Or is what I consider to be reality missing something? In the months that followed, I started gradually researching the phenomenon. I watched hundreds of witness testimonies from civilians and military personnel from all over the world. What really stood out to me was the fact that the majority of witnesses described similar details about what they experienced while unaware of each other's stories. And even though the mere mention of the subject has been systematically stigmatized, in recent years, things have changed quite a bit.
The Navy says it still doesn't know what the objects are, and officials aren't speculating. A Navy spokesman simply confirming to CNN the objects seen in the various clips are unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs.
The public's interest in UFOs started rising after the New York Times published an article in 2017, which confirmed that there was indeed a secret Pentagon program studying UFOs after years of denying it. With more awareness on the issue came more pressure on the US government, which culminated in more demands for some serious answers on the UFO mystery. Then, in June of this year, a debrief article and a News Nation interview broke out about an American whistleblower who had some groundbreaking information to share with the world.
To bring you a News Nation exclusive interview with a man we're calling the UFO whistleblower. David Grush is a career intelligence official who this week is making some bombshell claims of a U.S. government cover-up going back nearly a century.
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles.
The United States has spacecraft, intact craft.
We do.
That secret program's mandate was to find and retrieve crashed or landed UFOs in order to reverse engineer them for technology that the government can use. And since extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, Dave was called to the stand to back up his claims under oath for the first time in US history. Okay, but how did I meet Dave in the first place? This is the man who connected the dots. Jesse Michaels and I met in 2022 due to our mutual interest in the phenomenon, and we've since gone on a few truth-seeking adventures together. He is one of the brightest and most well-read multidisciplinary thinkers I have ever met, and his curiosity on the subject has massively inspired me. Jesse and Dave had connected a year prior to the hearing, and just a few days before it was scheduled in DC, Jesse organized a call to introduce me to Dave, which by the end of it, I was convinced that his story had to be told, and not through the lens of a distorted news cycle, but rather a meaningful exploration of his story and motives as a human. On that same call, I took a shot in the dark and asked Dave if he would let us document his story as the congressional hearing unfolded. And to my complete surprise, he said yes. In fact, we were the only ones who had this type of access to Dave during the hearing and the days that followed.
Saying yes, seeking discomfort.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the ultimate seeking discomfort.
It seriously is.
It's not just seeking discomfort on an individual level to be in the place that you're in today. It's also what you're telling to humanity is a moment of seeking discomfort for the collective.
How do you expect this to go?
I think there's, the people who have been kind of following this subject for years, I think it might be a little bit of a letdown because I can't necessarily say everything I know. It's like, and I'm working on trying to get more things cleared for the hearing.
Like still.
Literally, as I'm working, I'm talking to the DoD security office, like as I was getting off the plane, like, please get something approved by 10 a.m. Because I wanted be able to provide more detail. There's like a certain thing where it's like, shouldn't it be the president saying this stuff? Like, I don't want to be the purveyor of disclosure because I don't have all the data.
Yeah.
I'm not in that leadership position, and you know, I'm just trying to, you know, use a public pressure to kind of, you know, to get the executive branch to make a decision on what to release.
Yeah.
Did all the checks I could possibly do, you know, within my, you know, kind of official capacity. Realized it was real, and then kind of during that investigation, you know, I had a lot of pushback that was very unfortunate, you know, reprisals against me and stuff, and that kind of was what led me to file the whistleblower complaint, you know, A, for my own protection, but B, was to kind of sound the alarm. They tried to claim all these things against me, conduct-wise, mental health, and all this other unfortunate stuff. I was in combat in Afghanistan in 2013. You know, I was on convoys outside the wire. I, you know, had a friend die, got blown up, and all this other stuff. You know, baggage that I had for 2-3 years after coming back. And, you know, I got diagnosed with, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, sought treatment. You know, I got help, good to go, but there was an agency that tried to dig that back up and say, oh, Dave still has ongoing issues, unmitigated, we need to pull his clearance. And then I had to show my medical records and be like, no, dude, I sought treatment, still do, because that's what you do. And they tried to use that against me. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
You know, I spent
That's
basically
fucking
2
insane.
years fighting that battle, appealed it, won it, cleared of all allegations, and you know, I still have my security clearance.
Yeah. It's been 20 minutes, and I can't even begin to express. Yeah, I feel sad that he had to go through what he had to go through to be able to simply share the truth. And for someone who's like served the country and for that to be used against him, like, it's weird because it's both an exciting position to be hearing this stuff straight from him, but also like very sad to see what he went through to be in the place that he's in today. Yeah. No.
Hi, I'm Diane Maceda. We begin with a highly anticipated hearing on Capitol Hill about unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. 3 men who previously served in the military are set to speak publicly about what they saw in the sky and heard behind closed doors.
It is the day of the hearing. We've got people waiting in line for us, which means that we'll just go swap with them and be able to go into the hearing.
Good morning. Difficult, yeah. Humidity's not too bad yet, so I'm keeping the suit jacket off until I can hear.
It looks amazing for having been rolled
up in a
Thank you.
backpack.
Yeah, you gotta roll it tight. I used to go to the Pentagon a lot. I'd bring like a sweat rag with me in the summer. I'd like, when I enter the Pentagon, I'm like wiping my sweat off. So, yeah.
How are you feeling?
I was a little restless last night, but I was told last night that they requested me to be cleared for a closed session after today.
Yeah.
But the request was denied.
Wow.
I was blocked.
Right.
So that's like obvious obstruction. Yeah, hopefully I can make a difference, and you know, I'm the guy that will inspire more people to go public.
He's in. I just can't imagine the amount of pressure he's under right now. Like, coming out to say something that people in this government and other governments have wanted to be silenced for the past 70 to 80 years. Right now we're gonna go take our position in line because they're gonna open in about an hour, so.
He is going to tell committee members that he has knowledge through his work of a covert government program to recover crashed alien spacecraft. Under penalty of perjury before Congress, those are the allegations that this whistleblower, David Grush, is going to make right through these doors right here.
Thank you. Literally first in line. They've been standing here since 2 a.m.
One minute away from going into what could potentially be a pivotal moment for humanity.
You see right now that there are people that are coming in, but we just got some news, and what you're about to see is these doors close relatively quickly, and I think there you go. That may be all that there is. The reason that you just saw that is because we have this line here, you have another line around that corner, but they only have about 6 or 7 available seats. You've got, again, hundreds of people waiting in line, if not more than that. So what I'm told is there is going to be an overflow room, Brian, that's set up. So the interest is huge, obviously, and we're seeing it firsthand here today.
That was nice of the lady and the dude to just be like, oh, go on, Stefan. Stefan's my boy. I fucking love Stefan.
The subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, will come to order.
The UFO is emerging as a major topic of global importance.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program. I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower.
During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, 2 F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight briefs.
If you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments, regions, if you could just name anything.
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
Thank you.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
Are you aware of any individuals that are participating in reverse engineering programs for non-terrestrial craft?
Personally, yes.
Do you believe UAP?
Oh my God! Hey, Mama. You better soak up the baby time. Because you're going to be going sometime this week. You broke the medical tape, you fucker. I don't even give a shit. I don't even know if I want to be here right now.
These pose a potential threat to our national security.
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. You're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes.
In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
Okay. I just want everyone to note that he's coming forward in fear of his life. To put in perspective, if they were really not scared about this information coming out, why would someone be intimidated like that?
I want to thank everybody. We made history today.
I have no baseline with knowing if this went well or not, but in my perspective, there was a lot of repetition. A lot of the questions were just alluding to things that were already mentioned in the public before. I wish there was a lot more attention on Dave and Dave's story.
Why is this case so significant? Like if you could put it like into a sentence, like why is this here right now?
It all boils down to transparency. People don't trust government for good reason. We need to get this information out. It needs to be worldwide, and we could, the whole world could benefit from this.
Amazing, thank you. Love affair.
Thank you, brother.
Even though
Nice.
the hearing felt like a
That was
great
kind
step in the
of
right
that was a kind of a sick moment. He's just like, I'm sorry, hold on, let me look at your necklace. Let me look at that real quick.
It left me pretty frustrated that most questions
That's kinda
asked were
funny,
from the
not gonna
lens
lie.
of the national security interests of the U.S., when clearly the implications
chuckle.
of this topic are far beyond that. And that gave me the idea to do a different type of hearing with Dave the following day.
It is now the day after the hearing.
And him talking like just a normal ass dude, just thanks, brother. You know, give him a nice little handshake. That was pretty cool. Not too many government people get my seal of approval. And like he said, for good reason. I like him though.
Gone absolutely viral all over the world.
David Grush.
David Grush.
David Grush.
David Grush.
Der Major David Grush.
قال ديفيد جروش.
شهادة القائد السابق في جهاز الاستخبارات ديفيد جراش.
Aerial phenomena นะคะก็คือเป็นปรากฏการณ์ที่ทางด้านของเดวิดกรัช
När blir det David Grush död?
David Grush riskerar fängelse om han skulle dömas
Num
för.
congresso sobre OVNIs.
David Grush.
Es un ex oficial de inteligencia mínimo. Este hombre se llama David Grush.
Technologii позаземские.
Один Грэша или Груша даже. Пусть будет мистер Груш.
Il faut dire que Grush a l'air très sérieux, il est vétéran de l'armée de l'air.
好来看到这3位军官表示，
空军退役少校格鲁什还爆料。
一番驚いたのはこの真ん中です。元空軍の情報証拠。
Having friends that I had
Damn.
talked to about this topic like years ago hit me up being like, oh my god, what is this? What's going on? And an idea that we had honestly after the hearing is what it would look like to set up a true public hearing where Dave gets to answer questions from strangers who are coming here not having any idea that they're going to be talking to the whistleblower that is telling humanity that we're not alone. I posted on Instagram last night just being like, hey, if you are a skeptic or a believer in UFOs, please send me your most pressing question. We set up this little public hearing in the rooftop of our hotel, and now we're just gonna go out, say hi to people, and bring them up here.
Just for a bar.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Alright guys, we're going to Antarctica all together and we're
The ASM is the only group of people that will show up to something they have absolutely no idea. But I promise it's gonna be worth it. I still can't say much until we get up there.
Let's seek this comfort and follow me.
Bro hug, nice.
Perfect. We're all set up.
I got your shit for you, brother.
Public hearing number 2. How about you guys? This group is pretty even split between skeptics and believers, and we want both perspectives to be represented here in the questions that you asked. So this is a true public hearing for everyone.
Yeah. They told me last night, I'm like, all right. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be crazy. Have a coffee.
How do you feel after yesterday? Because I haven't seen
Good. I mean, it felt like when I was playing basketball in high school, you get the pregame jitters. You're like, oh my God, what's going to go on? It was so cool to see the bipartisanship, because it's just gotten so bad over the last 10 years where, it's the liberals and the super conservatives. And I thought it was the craziest thing. I was telling him in the car, I have AOC and Matt Gaetz agreeing on something.
Should we open the floor?
That's crazy.
So I guess one of the questions that I have is why do the politicians, why do the people who are higher up feel like they need to hide the evidence, or why do they not want us to know that?
Yeah, I mean, I can only know what the mindset was, multiple decades ago, and anything in government, they're resistant to change. So this is the way we set it up. They basically took the Manhattan Project secrecy and overlaid it on this issue, and then they realized the military and the national defense potential if the reverse engineering basically was successful. So we're gonna lock it down, and then you remember trust in government was high back in the 40s post-war, and then also society was less secular. So there's, they're worried about the religious ontological shocks as well.
Fuck the Pope.
They never really developed we'll call it disclosure plan for what it's worth. And they just were like, this is the way it's been, and we're going to keep it that way. And we don't want Russia and China to be exposed to any of this info. Fortunately, it's that kind of low energy thinking, Yeah.
Next question, please. So continuing from what you were saying, are we safe as a human species? Because I might have watched too many movies. But
yeah. I mean, we can only, through external observation and a humanistic lens, see intent, if it's malice or benevolent. I mean, if the universe certainly has a yin and yang, so there's certainly dark with light. So I think it's a mixed bag. It's just like humans, right? Humans are generally kind, but we also kill animals for food. And if you were a cow, you'd be like, these evil humans are gonna chop me up and eat me. So but we're not actually malevolent as a whole, but some lower sentient species would see us as malevolent. So
yeah, 100%.
What lens you look at through. And I be very general in this to protect this person's identity because they're still on active duty, but I remember interviewing a guy, and I have a background in psychological analysis and other stuff to, assess people, and for 3 hours, and it was a certain very senior Navy individual that saw he was going to work at a certain facility in the morning, not drunk, not high, and a 300-foot triangular craft hovered over his car for a couple minutes, and he couldn't even process what he was seeing. But then he took pictures of his car after the incident, and all the zenith upper-facing decks of his car got hit with ionizing radiation, ultraviolet, because the paint became milky. His headlights they were totally clear. His car was perfect before the incident. And I'm like, holy crap, you have physical artifacts. The guy we assessed, he had a normal psychological composition, no weird belief system. He's just a dude that was going to work at a Navy base, and he had a freaking huge craft. At least the physical proof he provided, he drew what he saw, no sound, these weird omnidirectional lights, kind of that classic, triangle. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't believe in UFOs, but these guys are they can't be lying to me, because they certainly are credible guys and have a lot to lose. He was super scared to come forward. He didn't tell his wife for 5 years. That was, I think, an inflection point for me where I'm like, okay, there's something going on that's not adversarial tech, talking to these people that were literally in tears, telling me this stuff, because it was this emotional thing that they could not process analytically, what they were seeing. It was totally beyond their comprehension. So, for what it's worth, yeah. I've never seen anything, believe it or not, so I came in as non-believers.
And this is coming as somebody who's a bit of a skeptic. I understand that the U.S., Russia, and China are very, very good at secrecy and maintaining that area of secrecy. But there's 180 some odd countries, 190 some odd other countries. How come we haven't seen more of this coming out from maybe other smaller countries? I mean, you mentioned Grenada, you mentioned San Marino.
Yeah.
Have we seen more of this? People have just been not paying attention. Has it been a lot of forcing them into silence?
So there are certainly friendly governments both across the pond and let's say local to where our landmass that are for this, and a lot of them know that they got a raw deal with the U.S. because they were basically part of the secrecy. through kind of agreements, like bilateral and unilateral agreements, and they're like, you know, they kind of want to be, release me, like, you know, because they do realize it was a bad deal. With the ecosystem secrecy, some people, one of their arguments is like, well, how would they keep the secret? I'm like, dude, I was cleared to some of the nation's most sensitive programs. I used to handle the PDB, you know, I had full access to most DoD activities, and most of the stuff, broad programs that were enduring, have never leaked. So the U.S. and its allies are very good at keeping secrecies, to include programs that are, we'll say, global in nature. And really, it's been leaking like a sieve in some weird way for many decades. Now it's been mixed in with some BS in ufology and stuff, but the general gist of it's actually been out there for a long time. It has been leaking in some sense. So.
I guess I want to open it up. I just want to ask, like, why don't we discuss like cognitive biases? Just in general, you know, like where you grew up defines like, okay, if I look up at something in the sky and I'm looking for something and I really want it, then it's going to be true. Or maybe it's the fact that as a child you saw aliens that were green and they had antennas, and so I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering why we're coming to conclusions about it existing.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm skeptical. I guess I think maybe it's fabricated to an extent based on our beliefs.
Yeah, it's like manifesting your own reality based on your. No, I totally get that. Even some of the metaphysics, and I was like super careful with confirmation bias and all that, and like I came in skeptical. There's like the Fermi paradox, or no, because Enrico Fermi was famously like, well, you know, where are they overtly landing on the White House lawn kind of thing. But because we have like tangible physical evidence, at least you know the U.S. government does. There is a there on their existence, but like what are they for, like, you know, actually, you know, like we talked about, it's like if they do exhibit bilateral symmetry and they're bipedal and everything, that's like, wow, what is the chance in biologically for them to develop in a similar way than us? What if it's an intelligence engineering beings to look like us for ease of contact? Totally worth looking into it, and I wish it was a area of study that, you know, wasn't stigmatized anymore, and people can like, here's the data the government has. You figure it out.
You have a guy who's a tenured PhD Nobel nominee at Stanford who claims to have crash parts with isotope ratios not from this earth who's studying it. You have a guy at Harvard who's a head of the astrophysics department who has set up an entire institute that is setting up sensors to find these things. We should never evangelize or proselytize the answer being there are definitely aliens. But I think it's like reality is a lot weirder than we think, probably due to a lot of empirical stuff that people have picked up, and it's our job to like look into it.
This is more about like getting people to ask bigger, better questions rather than necessarily have answers. What we're creating with, you know, with Dave and Jesse, like this becomes an invitation for people to look deeper into this, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna leave in the description like the list of things to read, things to watch, interviews to check out.
Yeah, my biggest outrage was just like, wait, if this was broadly studied like nuclear physics, right? How you make a nuclear bomb, classified. Physics, not. And the sequestration of astrobiology, astrophysics, etc., where you could build undergraduate, graduate, and postdoctoral programs of record to actually study this shit openly? Holy shit, that's like way better, and we can, you know, potentially develop novel solutions for energy, etc. Who knows? But no, it was sequestered because it's like this like arms race thing. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. And that was another reason why, you know, I whistleblowed. Yeah.
Has this changed your perception on theology?
I grew up Roman Catholic as a kid, the whole confirmation thing, CCD and all that. And I was reasonably religious, but nothing like crazy, kind of average. Studied physics, I became kind of agnostic. I was like, I don't know about all this kind of woo-woo, you know, stuff that the church espouses and stuff. And then oddly enough, I've kind of come full circle. I think about the people, the journey I had, and the most random people that I've known that were placed in my life like 14 years ago, you know, shut the door of my office at NGA and were like, look, dude. And, you know, they started telling me all this stuff that I was, and they brought these like crazy intel reports, and I was like, I can't believe I'm reading this. And it was like so wild. I mean, really, I'm not like trying to be hyperbolic at all. And yeah, I guess I've kind of come full circle. It's a really weird journey. Yeah, I don't know.
What does the future look like? I mean, it seems like all we can do is research right now.
Yeah, what is happening next is I know there's some intel officers and other people in and out of government that are about to file complaints similar to what I did, because they said, fuck it, you know, and then they were on these programs. dudes, not people telling me stuff, like literally the dudes touching the stuff. February of 2024, we should have a presidential panel on UAP disclosure looking at the crash retrieval issue and everything. And then within 300 days of the enactment of the act, we're going to get some kind of, I think, government statement next year on this topic. The tsunami wave is building, and I don't think we're going to totally backpedal anymore. Other than that, it would be totally speculation, but that's at least what's going to come. I think 2024 is going to be, knock on wood, potentially wild in a good way. So, yeah.
Do you think this is going to make countries, and especially U.S. adversaries, work together or kind of push them apart?
I'm hoping it's going to be de-escalatory when it comes to peer competition, and like we have bigger things to either look at, worry about, etc. And I understand it's not going to create some utopian society where nobody's going to care about feudalistic dominance, like Russia and China, South China Sea, Ukraine, whatever. But I hope that it's like a moment of pause where people could be like, okay, we need to look at our priorities and at least come together in some sense more than we are now. So I think it's a uniting thing versus a dividing thing. I hope that's a result of what I did. That'd be good for me because I was in war and I've seen the evils of the world, and I'd rather not keep on going. Humanity's not going down a good path right now. I think everybody can agree it's divergent, both sociologically, and there's very dangerous hot wars that could lead to like a World War III type scenario.
Yeah, I think there's something so beautiful in like us reassessing our entire existence and really figuring out how do we move forward if reality is even crazier than we ever thought, and the only thing we can do is to influence our local environments and just be as good and as kind and as loving as we possibly can, then that's what's gonna ripple into this greater reality that we're a part of. I hope you guys realize like how truly unique / historic this is. There is certainly millions of people after yesterday that would want to be in this room having this conversation. So it is really, really wild that we get to have this opportunity. Thank you for saying that.
Somebody say alien.
I'm proud of the craziest part is that we're going home with him today. Like, we're flying back to Colorado with him.
So now we're about to go to Dave's house. Everyone is trying to do their best to be as sensitive and caring about the topic as much as possible. As he said the other day, he would rather not to do this and rather want someone else to do it, but he feels that he have to do it, and he have all my respect. There's this quote saying that speak even if your voice is shaking. The thing with Dave is that his voice never shakes. It feels like he's the most confident man I met in years.
See ya. Yeah. So we don't film exterior.
Yeah.
Just making sure nobody knows I live here.
It's okay.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man.
Space security and defense program.
Hey,
It feels pretty surreal to be in his house right now. Like his phone has not stopped ringing, hanging up on reporters all day.
He's such a cutie. Yeah, it's such a cutie.
Oh, that's good. Feeling during it for you?
I probably cried through the first hour of it, just like relief, and everybody treated him with respect. Everybody had done their research. Like, I think it just went so well from the previous 4 years of like him getting dragged through the mud. It was just a big relief.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have any like views or opinions on the phenomenon before kind of?
No, not really. Like, I'm not a big sci-fi person. Like, he would come home and tell me like general stuff, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's probably aliens. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, as well, like, I think Dave is like inspiring people beyond this subject. He dares to speak about something, gives the opportunity to other people to speak about something.
Yeah.
He's enabling other people to speak their truth.
For the next few hours, Jesse sat down with Dave for the most in-depth public interview that Dave has given to date. You can watch it on Jesse's channel, so please check it out after this one. At this point, we had all been going non-stop on the topic since the hearing took place. So we decided to have a change of pace after Dave invited us out on an adventure.
Let's go!
And at the end, everybody was like, oh my god, because the llama's just going for it.
Dave ran this morning in a llama race with his wife. They placed 17th, so.
Colorado tradition. I'm holding on for America.
So this is apparently one of Dave's favorite stuff to do in the world, so let's do some ATV together with him. See Dave being Dave.
Years ago, I minored in German in college, and I was majoring in physics, so I've just kept up with the language, over the years.
And before we said goodbye to Dave, we went on one last hike to get some answers to some of our biggest unanswered questions.
Why did you decide to do this with us?
Well, I was watching your episodes, and I liked your vibe. A friend of mine 2 years ago was like, hey, you ever watch Yes Theory? And I have a decent subscription. You touch the younger demographic, it's uplifting, you bring in cultures, you're uniting cultures and everything. And I thought that's great, because as somebody who's unfortunately been on the side of state versus state and all that, seeing a different, more uniting kind of message, it was nice to see. And I saw how you affect a lot of people, and just the positive vibes, and I thought it would make sense to go through you guys.
Over the past days, you shared with us that
That's
you
sick.
Were diagnosed to be on the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
How has this served you in your life and in your career, and how has it hindered you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know, that I was autistic until I was in my early 30s. And, I always wondered why.
Damn.
In my personal life, if I get...
What a fucking bomb! That came out of nowhere. Dude's talking about aliens, just like, so, what's it like being fucking autistic? That's crazy.
On something and obsessed, what was going
That's
on.
nuts.
I mean, it served me well in the government, because I was super good at, doing intel and Dave, we want you to target this facility. Okay, you have 6 months, figure out everything, and of course I do, and it's, that was very good, but I think, yeah, it obviously causes me to be very detail oriented. I want to always tell the truth.
But your instinct is just to say it as it is.
I have to, I have no filter.
What would you tell a normal person who is processing all this? Would you give any advice? Or if you could give an advice to a normal person watching, what would you tell that person?
Yeah, I mean, I empathize with kind of the shocking nature. It enters, it's a weird thing to enter your worldview, right? It's holy crap. But think about it, we're just revealing another aspect of nature. It's just another discovery, splitting the atom, or the fact that, the solar system is heliocentric, and the Earth's not in the center. So the humankind, we're not the apex of sentience potentially, and there's, other life out there, whether you believe in God or not, it paints, nature paints with a broad brush. And we're just revealing another really, I think, exciting aspect of nature that I think that'll make us feel a lot less lonely. And like what I was telling you about, I mean, like, I think anybody who's like struggling with meaning or depression or whatever, I mean, maybe this will kind of help, you know, to get them excited. And for young people thinking about what they want to study, and I hope this like inspires people to want to know more. I mean, it's a little scary to find out some pretty shocking things that really can change your worldview, but I think it's generally for the best, yeah.
A question on the people that have come forward to you, because you said that they are colleagues and people that you've worked with for over a decade.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the psychological weight that is on one of the people that are in the program. How on a personal level, how are they even existing?
I think that they, you know, wanted to get the weight off their shoulder, kind of explain, you know, what they thought was wrong, even though they signed a non-disclosure. They're patriotic, they're really good people. Like, these are not evil people or anything like that. But they thought it was a raw deal, because the funny thing is, if you're in an unacknowledged program, you don't even know what you're getting briefed to when you are like, hey, we need you to sign NDA, you're gonna be on something cool. What is it? We can't tell you until you sign. So, and then they sign it, and then they see all the stipulations, how it's enforced. We're briefed in a very threatening manner. And I think they probably wish they never signed it, right?
It just shows to the cynics too, who are like, it would have come out. There'd be photos, or there are
they enforce
sort of
this
crazy
brutally.
controls in place, brutal enforcement.
Yeah.
And what was the last special access program that leaked? They don't generally leak.
You know, people are like, oh, dude, wouldn't it be broadly leaked or whatever? I'm like, as somebody who is super cleared to a lot of that conventional stuff over the years, stuff never leaks.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out. There are plenty of things that are pretty serious, they're broad, that have never seen the light of day. You know, the psychology of the typical career government worker, right? Stable paycheck, pension, maintain clearance. So if any of that's threatened, you know, they're gonna capitulate in most cases, right? And, you know, that was basically what happened to me, but I, you know, just decided to fight the system. I stumbled upon this, which arguably is the most interesting and fascinating and exciting thing ever. Well, why would I go back to doing my normal job and just shutting my mouth and sitting in my office and doing regular national defense stuff? Because our priorities are not even right if this other thing is legit. So
that's fun.
Do you think the fact that you're neurodivergent was this like curveball? Do you think that came into play because your response is so different than
yeah,
what?
I think my response is so analytical. I like don't even think about it emotionally. My divergence really helped keep the train on the tracks.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, looking at this
It's
stuff.
like-
Yeah, they didn't consider my zest to continue the mission.
Yeah.
Because, you know, once you get me going, you know, it's hard to pull the brakes on the train.
Because we did something really special right after the hearing. The following morning, we just brought in the SFAM into the room, and I would say this had to be your first time taking questions from the public like that. No?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I've like never done that.
Wow.
Ever.
How did it feel?
Yeah, I'm fucking bored of that one. It's an hour long, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's not what I want. Yeah, that one was boring. Hey! Hurry up the fucking poster, jackass! You fucking dick! Not you, baby. Lay down. Why are you all fighting? Why are you all fighting? Hey. Hey, you good? She's fine. Oh, okay. Why are you jumping at things? to do now. I want to smoke weed. It's like no one is even here this morning. Damn. I know I'm on YouTube, but is no one really? Damn. No one's jumping over to YouTube just for a couple days, huh? That's mighty sad. Oh well. Yeah, you guys want to smoke? Take a hit? Let's do that thing. Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Showtime now, baby. We ran with them. Let's don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Put them up, yeah. This my world, this my earth, this my turf, this my land. I stand on my own 2 feet against my family tree. Yeah. This is legacy. Yeah. Cross my path, you'll see. Yeah. Cross my path, you'll see. It's showtime now, baby. Well, it's We got no fear, no doubt, all in balls out. We're going up tonight to kick out every light, take anything we want, drink everything in sight. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground at night. We're screaming like demons.
This place is fucking horrible.
Well, it's midnight, damn right, we're wound up too tight. I got a fist full of whiskey, the bottle just bit me. Oh, that shit makes me batshit crazy. We got no fear, no doubt, all in balls out. We're going up tonight to kick out every light, take anything we want, drink everything in sight. We're going till the world stops turning while we burn it to the ground at night. We're screaming like demons and swinging from the ceiling. I got a fist full of 50s, tequila just hit me.
I'm out of here. I'm done.